Hi, I'm Sadhana. The presentation is taking detailed look at data-driven API recommendation for building web applications. So, what is apps for this? Nowadays, web applications are essential for the several reasons. They offer many advantages. One being they perform all of the necessary function utilizing a web browser instead of install software. And also, cloud-based functionality has web apps becoming an essential component of today's expanding goal. Organizations are embarrassing and creating web application with the help of the developers to meet their business demands. So, what is the definition for the API? Like as per the Wikipedia, API is a set of subroutine definitions of like protocols and tools for the building software and applications. To put it in simple terms, API is some kind of interface which has set of functions that allow programmers to access specific features or data of an application, operating system, or other services. So API over the web, which can be accessed using the HTTP protocol. It is a concept. It's not a technology. We can build web API using different technologies such as Java, .NET, etc. Like for example, Twitter REST APIs provide programmatic access to read and write data using which we can integrate Twitter's capabilities into our own application. So there is a tremendous task involved in searching for and looking for the right APIs for the application. Developers often spend a lot of time trying to search and analyze and even test APIs to be sure that they are fit for their purpose. There is no guarantee they will find the right API, and secondly, they waste. There is a lot of time taking process, and it's non efficient. There is in fact million of API available today, and it's a it's a hard to get. It's a hard thing to get find the correct one that first fit nicely and perfectly fit for the work and task at hand. The purpose of integrating these web APIs can be sectioned into different stages. One is web API discovery, another one is web API validation and compatibility checks. The above operations are often too much time taking, especially for the non-experts. Thus, there has a rapid increase in the need for an approach that app developers to find the web APIs for developing their apps without having to go through the above one and time-consuming phases individually. So what can methodology, how can we get the problem solution for this? So in this paper, web API recommendation is proposed, like it's a novel approach or like to web APIs recommendation that assist app developers in searching for the multiple compatible web API based on the keyword search. It allows app developers to search for the multiple appropriate and compatible web API by entering only few keywords that represents the required task for the app. This approach eliminates the manual redundancy and inefficiency associated with the manual searching for the right web API, validating them, and subsequently integrating them into the apps. This automated approach allows for the integration of already validated and data back sustainability of the applications. If 1,000 people with a similar app have integrated web API, for example, it's almost certain that the web API will set nicely into our own app. Like what is the WAR methodology? As we discussed before, it's a novel approach that assists app developers in searching for the multiple compatible web API based on the keyword search. WAR integrates and automates the application planning, web API discovery, and web API selection operation, offering a novel data-driven approach for building apps. It allows application developers to search for multiple appropriate and compatible web APIs by entering only few keywords that represents the required task for the application. The beauty of this is that you don't need to be an expert in the particular web API to integrate and use it. It's a common practice for the developers to integrate the API or relation between two or more APIs. These APIs have been used and tested in therefore relationship has been proven and established between the two. This relationship is then depicted using the correlation graph. We propose a web API correlation graph where web API are modeled as nodes as and their compatibility as edges. This correlation graph is built based on extensive data about web API compatibility obtained from mining online software repositories. Based on API correlation graph, we model app developer queries for web API as a minimum group state tree problem and solve it with a dynamic programming technique or recommended diverse field solution. For example, if we take a total number of 6,146 web applications have been developed and published on a programmable web.com, such application provide valuable information about their constituent web APIs compatibility. For example, a web app published on programmable web.com indicates that compatible because its developer has verified their compatibility and successfully integrated them into the web application. So what is where optimization? Like there is a Steny tree. It's a dynamically programming technique was used in optimization. The smallest unit of the tree node is called tree was identified. Dynamic programming technique solves a given complex optimization problem by breaking it down into a collection of simpler sub-problems. Each of sub-problem is solved only once and the corresponding result is stored through examining and combining previously solved subproblems. A dynamic programming algorithm can solve the given complex optimization problem exactly. In this one, a minimum group scenario tree is there. Group scenario tree, when a query is searched, it would typically result in a group of trees. The group of trees are called group of scenario trees. Where is also find the minimum group scenario tree with the minimum number of nodes, including the uh, keyword nodes, nodes containing the query keywords and bridging nodes, nodes that do not contain the keywords but are necessary to connect the keyword nodes. This optimization objective is employed because the solution will require the fewest web APIs. This is potentially simplifies the app developers web apps and reduce the cost for the building the web applications. Dynamic programming technique solves a given complex optimization problem by breaking it down into a collection of simpler subproblems. Each of the subproblem is solved only once and then corresponding result is stored. Through examining and combining the previously solved problems, a dynamic programming algorithm can solve the given complex optimization problem exactly. This experiment was carried out on a system with the specifications like it should be RAM 8 GB RAM and it should be Windows 10. The idea and by testing the 6,146 queries where it was inspected to see if it could find the web APIs needed for building each of the 6,146 web apps on programmableweb.com with AP with the keywords like get the result like the diagram here shows the degree of the correctness or accuracy when the keywords are used to search for the API using the where approach and optimization applied. The accuracy of WAR was perfect compared to when random words and other techniques are used. The nodes are grown systematically using different and keywords until it grows enough to form a cluster or group scenario trees. Paper proposed a novel approach towards data-driven keyword based on the automated API search and discovery for web apps using a technique known as where offers a new data-driven approach for building apps and can significantly save the time and effort during the process of building application. The results of experiments on 18,478 real-world web APIs and 6,146 real-world web app demonstrate the usefulness and efficiency of WAR. uh, there is extensive ongoing work on the keyword search that is beyond the scope of the paper. Like this WAR technology is very useful. By hitting the keyword, we will get the right API. And also the author of the paper export that more work will be done in the future to enhance the WAR, to increase the diversity of the multiple solution, to offer app developers with the higher flexibility in building their apps. These are the references for this for the WAR, and that's it. Thank you.